Hey everyone, and welcome back to RVing It Up. Today we're tackling a topic that just about every Canadian road tripper or RVer thinks about: crossing the border into the United States. It's something that can feel stressful, even if you've done it before. So today we're going to cover some of the common questions and share a few do's and don'ts, and tell you a couple of our own stories from the border. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll feel a lot more confident about your next crossing. Number 1, the I-94 form. One of the first questions we get asked is, do Canadians need to fill out an I-94 form when crossing into the USA? And the answer is usually no. If you're entering by land for tourism, camping, or RVing, you don't need it. That form is generally for people entering on certain visas or for longer stays, and more commonly when you're flying in. When we first started researching this, even we weren't sure if it applied to us. But after multiple crossings by RV, I can confirm it's not something most Canadians need to worry about. So that's one thing off your checklist.
That being said, things change. When we first filled out our I-94 forms, they cost $6 each, and now the cost is up to $30 per person. Agents at the border may choose to pull you over to photograph or fingerprint each visitor. This really isn't an issue to stress over.
Check the Customs and Border Protection website in case their rules change.
Of course, paperwork is only part of the story. There's still that feeling of nervousness around border crossings. You know what I mean. You're waiting in line, the officer waves you forward, and suddenly you're thinking, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they don't like my answers? Honestly, Heather and I still get that little knot in our stomach, and we've crossed many times. The thing to remember is that the officers are trained to be direct. They're not trying to be your friend, but they're not out to get you either. If you're polite, honest, and answer clearly, 99% of the time, it's a smooth experience. One officer once asked us how long we plan to stay, and when I said, about 3 weeks, but we'll play it by ear, he raised an eyebrow and said, so how long are you going to stay? I learned quickly they want to hear just clear answers. If you know your campground bookings or your rough itinerary, have it handy. It makes the whole thing easier.
Now, here's something that surprised us on our travels. Every American that we've met on the road this season has been quick to apologize for the behavior of their president or the political climate towards tourists. We didn't bring it up, they did. And to us, that says a lot. It shows that everyday Americans really do care about how visitors feel. They want us to enjoy their country, and they don't want politics to get in the way of hospitality. I remember a couple in Montana actually saying, please don't judge us by what you see on the news. And that really stuck with me, because our experience has been that the American people are warm, friendly, and welcoming. And that's what matters most when you're traveling.
Heather and I also realize that being a middle-aged white couple gives us some privilege at the border. As unfair as it is, our experience may not be the same as everyone else's. That doesn't mean we take it for granted. It just means that we try to acknowledge that others might face tougher questions or more scrutiny. Not fair. The important thing for everyone, no matter who you are, is to stay calm and respectful. That attitude really does go a long way. Should we avoid traveling to the US? So here's the big question people ask us. With everything going on, should we just avoid it? And our answer is no. There's just too much to see and too many good people to meet. Yes, the political climate might feel tense sometimes, but in our travels, the positives have always far outweighed any negatives.
That being said, we might not want to put our dollars there, right, too.
Having said that, even though it might sound a little contradictory, this year with the current political climate in the US, we're going to send our tourism dollars to Canada and not travel to the States just for the season. Think about it. From the national parks to the small town diners to the fellow campers that we've met at RV parks, we've consistently felt welcome. For us, the US is still an amazing place to travel.
Number 6, what not to bring across the border. Of course, one way to make your crossing stressful is to bring the wrong stuff. Don't want to do that. And this is really important. Never bring fruits, meat, dairy, marijuana, or other materials across the border. These rules are strict and for good reason. They're about protecting agriculture, preventing pests, and keeping everyone safe. Mike spent a few years commuting to work across the border in Michigan daily.
I had my lunch confiscated a number of times because it contained meat or eggs or fruit. We've seen people get pulled aside just for having a bag of apples in their RV fridge.
Or dog food.
And trust me, it's not worth the hassle. If in doubt, leave it at home or declare it. The officers will appreciate your honesty. And here's another one, trailer inspections. It might strike you as odd, but Customs and Border Patrol will sometimes enter your RV without you and do inspections. It happened to us a couple of times. The guard at the border said, "Stay in your car, shut off the engine. I'm going into your RV. Is it locked?" And he went through and inspected, went through the fridge, went through the cupboards. It's a bit of a weird feeling when we get back in and see that he had been through. The one guy actually left greasy fingerprints all over the place. I don't know how he managed that. Our advice, keep your RV tidy, lock away valuables, and don't pack anything questionable. That way, if they do go through your things, there's nothing to worry about, other than maybe having to restack a cereal box or two.
And another funny thing, but it is a rule. It might be legal to have marijuana in Canada, and it might be legal in the state you're crossing into, but it is still illegal to take it across the border. So just because it's legal on both sides doesn't mean you can bring it across.
The eighth thing, gas prices. A comparison of gas prices between the USA and Canada is interesting. I grew up in a border city, and it's always been more affordable to buy gasoline in the USA and a bit more expensive in Canada. But don't consider this to always be the case. We recently crossed into Alberta, Canada along our way north out of Montana. Pulling into a gas station at St. Mary, Montana, I saw the price was listed at $4.20 US per gallon. That's higher than the nationwide average, of course, but it was the only choice I had as we were leaving Glacier National Park. A quick calculation means that $4.20 US per gallon is equal to $1.58 Canadian per litre. And there are plenty of stations right across the border selling gas at $1.32 per litre in southern Alberta.
And just a few more things. We subscribe to a cell phone plan in Canada that provides us service in both the USA and Canada, and the price is really reasonable. In past years, we used to swap out SIM cards and use a provider in the US, but that's just not necessary anymore. I recommend that everyone carry emergency health insurance if out of country for more than just a few days, and be sure that insurance coverage on your vehicle and your RV is valid when you cross the border. It is illegal to bring Kinder eggs, go figure, into the US. Funny but true. There's concern that the little toy can be a choking hazard. Have a passport to cross the border. It's easiest, most universal form of identification. Bringing your pet cat or dog is usually not an issue. Officially, they should have proof of rabies vaccination, but we've never been asked to show that. So that's been our experience crossing the US-Canada border. A mix of nerves, rules, and the occasional surprise inspection, but also the gateway to some of the best road trips we've ever taken. If you've crossed recently, we'd love to hear about your experience. Were the officers strict? Friendly? Did you have anything unexpected happen? Share it in the comments below. Your story could help another traveler feel more prepared. Thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, we look forward to seeing you on the road.
Check out some of our other videos and subscribe to our channel.
New content will be posted weekly.